us that we can take a risk. We don't need to be afraid. That we can stand up, and we should stand up, even if it means losing your life. And he made us proud of who we were, culturally.
While there are many influences over the Chicano movement during the 1960s and 70s, the most powerful figure was Rodolfo Gonzalez. As a prominent political leader and activist with many followers, he was able to further develop the name, legacy, and national identity of Mexican Americans and extend the rights of those individuals throughout the United States.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening, feature attraction, 15 rounds of boxing for the lightweight championship of the world. The number one lightweight contender, scoring 39 knockouts in 45 wins, our own Rodolfo Gonzalez.
Born on June 18, 1928, Rodolfo Corky Gonzalez entered into an era of constant social change, where he grew up in severe poverty and suffered racial discrimination. His interest in boxing led him to become a successful boxer in the featherweight division. His national-level recognition made him a hero to many and also gained him many Mexican-American followers. The roots of the Chicano movement stem from the Mexican-American War. The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo of 1848, which ended the war, called for 250,000 square miles of Mexican territory to be entitled to the United States. The re-evaluation of the border between the two great empires left millions of Mexicans stifled by oppressors in their own native land. In the 1960s, as Mexican-American segregation became more prominent, this land became more commonly known as Aztlán. Gonzalez used the idea of Aztlán as a symbol to enhance unity and pride in Chicano culture by making it the primary ambition of the movement. Bringing together the frayed ends of a scattered revolution, Gonzalez created an important grassroots title, La Raza, or the Race, unifying Mexican Americans toward the same goal and fighting the battle of segregation together. La Raza served as a method to promote pride and brotherhood within the Mexican American society. In the 1960s, the Black Civil Rights Movement started spreading through the United States like wildfire, as Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X became icons and leaders for the movement. They sparked many other individuals to create organizations such as the Black Panthers. This movement impacted Mexican Americans, motivating them to join the fight for social reform. The 60s and 70s mark a pivotal point in United States history, changing the path of social reform for decades to come. When Gonzalez's boxing career came to an end in 1959, he immediately began working for John F. Kennedy's presidential campaign, helping to coordinate Chicano outreach in Colorado. Gonzalez redefined the meaning of the Mexican American by coining the name Chicano as a less derogatory name for Mexican American. His popularity within the community ultimately made his transition from a boxer to a political activist much easier. John F. Kennedy realized that the support of the Mexican American vote would be crucial to a successful campaign. In the 1960 presidential election, Kennedy won the election with 85% of the Mexican American vote. Kennedy became the first president to acknowledge Latinos as an official voting bloc. Gonzalez quit his job for the Democratic Party in 1965 after realizing that the needs and goals of Chicanos were being ignored. 1 year later, in 1966, Gonzalez founded the Crusade for Justice, a grassroots organization based in Denver, Colorado. The organization supported mass actions against the quickly escalating Vietnam War, looked to achieve equal rights for Chicanos, and aimed to involve more youth and students in the movement. The Crusade in Colorado focused on incorporating college students into the movement. Rallying on public grounds and encouraging school walkouts, Crusaders were able to recruit thousands of Chicano students from local universities. These students formed organizations to combat various issues of segregation, modeling them after the Black Civil Rights Movement. Organizations such as MECA, UMass, and the Brown Berets resemble the fighting spirit that the SNCC, SDS, and the Black Panthers had during the Black Civil Rights Movement. In 1970, Gonzalez founded the Escuela Tlatelolco in Denver. The school strives to help young individuals, particularly children of members of the Crusade for Justice, to exceed academically, along with instilling cultural pride, confidence, and leadership. The school is now run by Nhd Gonzalez, Gonzalez's daughter. The school works to educate students about the Chicano civil rights movement, and as a result emphasizes the pivotal role that Gonzalez played in the movement, ultimately leaving an everlasting legacy of Gonzalez in the Chicano community. Gonzalez brought recognition to Chicanos by founding the first national Chicano political party, La Raza Unida, believing that political justice was the penultimate step in racial desegregation and equality. When La Raza Unida party began to gain traction, it presented a threat to the classic two-party system. This in turn brought federal attention to the Chicano movement and the potential disruption that the movement presented to the country's safety and well-being. Meanwhile, J. Edgar Hoover's FBI instituted the program COINTELPRO in 1956, a program that aimed to remove political groups that the FBI deemed to be subversive, such as Martin Luther King Jr., the Congress of Racial Equality, the National Lawyers Guild, and other groups involved in various civil rights movements. COINTELPRO was later scrutinized for events during the Chicano civil rights movement, such as the bombings in Boulder, Colorado in May of 1974, which killed 6 young Chicano activists who worked closely with Gonzalez and the Crusade for Justice. These bombs are now referred to as Nhd State Boulder. Some believe that, directed by COINTELPRO, the FBI planted these bombs in the young activists' car, blowing them up. There is still controversy over the Nhd bombings to this day. The 1974 landmark Supreme Court case, Hernandez v. Texas, expanded the races that the 14th Amendment protected. It went beyond the two colors of black and white and started to recognize brown. The Supreme Court's decision to expand the protection of the 14th Amendment to all races, not just white and black, serves as a national recognition of the Chicano movement. Rodolfo Corky Gonzalez passed away in his home on April 12, 2005. However, his death did not mark the end of Chicanos' fight for equality, as his legacy lasts through the undying and forever powerful voices and lives of Chicanos throughout the United States. Chicanos in Colorado today continue to see prosperous days, embracing the ideals of culture and heritage, thanks to one man's dream.
Los Seis, if they would have lived longer, Corky would have lived longer. I think if they would have done different things, just like if Malcolm X would have lived longer. Like, I've had the ability to live longer, and I haven't made all the changes I need to make, but if you saw who I was in 67, 68, 69, 70, and the metamorphosis that I've been through, is we're all caterpillars waiting to become butterflies. Just give us a chance. And if you don't have that chance, you're at the caterpillar stage. But I want to be the monarch butterfly, fly 1,000 miles for freedom or something.